You are tuned in to What Up Baltimore online radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this channel are of the host and not of Lady J Media. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, What Up Baltimore TV. And if you really don't want to miss any of the shows, hit that notification bell and you'll get a message every time we come on. Now, we got it from here, so sit back, relax, and stay tuned.
I know you do. I know you do, because that's what I do. I give you that kind of love that makes you come back. I'm your pusher, baby. Your pusher.
Hey, little black boy, let me holler at you for a minute. I was once in your place, you should respect what I say. Some of the things I'm about to tell you just may save your life in a world where not much is right. Little black boy, you're gonna see and experience all sorts of things, but don't let your mind be locked in the chains.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Spitfire Poetry Shutdown. This is our Author Spotlight edition. Listen, I have a wonderful published author on tonight by the name of Ayana Pope. I met Ayana's husband, Terrence Pope, maybe a year and a half ago. And I just love the movement that they're doing and how they work together on what they're doing. So I'm just going to get right into it, guys. We're introducing you all to Ayana Pope. Ayana, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, John. How are you?
I am good. I cannot complain. So I was reading your bio and I was blown away. I didn't know that you have a book that you just published on July the 8th, but I didn't know that wasn't your first book, right?
No, that's not my first book. It's my third self-authored book, my own book, and then I also co-authored one as well. Okay,
so it says Ayana Pope, the founder of Ascended
Volition.
Okay, talk to us about that.
So we're basically all about helping people come up. It's very simple, from wherever that they are to wherever God has for them. So, we offer services, anything from counseling to life coaching to helping people establish their businesses and just thrive in their purpose. We have a TV and radio platform, Paradigm Television Network, as well as Silverline Radio. So we just want to take people from where they are, wherever that is, and put them where God has for them. Polish them off.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Paradigm. Wow. I wrote a poem a while ago called Paradigm Shift. Naming that paradigm, what is that like? How did you come up with that name? Because of like helping people and making a change for them? Like, how did that come up?
What? At that time, when God had given me the vision and I established the network, it was right at the brink of COVID. I did not even know COVID was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And the purpose of the network is to bring forth restored television. And if you remember what 2020 was all about, it was a lot going on. It was COVID. It was a big uproar amongst races. It was a lot going on. And so at that time, when anybody who would sit down and watch TV, you would stand up and feel worse than you did when you first sat down.
Really?
It was all about a paradigm shift, bringing something new, not just new, but something that will help shift what was going on, not just in that time, but just period. We all need a shift in our mindsets, and to be educated, to be uplifted, to be empowered, to all of that. And so that pretty much embodies Paradigm Television Network.
Wow. Okay, so the book, Living from Fullness, Acting Empty.
Yeah.
All right, talk to me about that book.
Living from Fullness, Acting Empty. That was my first book. And that was just fresh after just my own journey through a wilderness experience and identifying some of the things that was going on within myself, and just noticing, observing even other things that other people are dealing with or were dealing with at that time. And we all have a purpose. We all have a destiny. And sometimes just the things that we go through in life, some of the things that we face, we come up against, it causes our life to look empty, even though we're full of potential. We're full of greatness, which is my most recent book. And so it was just really to help the reader navigate through some of those areas that causes us to act empty, even though we're full of what God had put in us, that great potential and purpose.
I love that, because I experienced that a few years ago when I wrote my first book, because I was in a position that I didn't know how I got there. I didn't know how to get out of it. Like, me and my wife really had went through a lot. And writing is what helped me. It is therapy for me. Writing poetry and just writing, period, writing book, writing my feelings down, just helped me. What does writing do for you as a writer? Like, what do you get out of it?
You know what? It helps to slow things down a little bit. It helps to slow things down a little bit, and helps me personally to begin to really reflect, really slow down and understand maybe what happened here that I didn't realize happened. At least that was the case, especially for my first book, to really navigate through that thing. And I'm a person of faith. So me and God took that journey together to really identify some things and understand why I might have been struggling with certain things, why other people struggle with certain things, why was I maybe susceptible to certain challenges and things like that. So for me, writing just helps me to slow down and to really reflect, really digest what God is saying about whatever it is the topic is about.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Now, the book, The Perfect Love Story for the Bruised.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that one.
You know what? That was the subtitle for the first book.
Okay.
So the reason why I called it that, The Perfect Love Story for the Bruised, is because we all need to know that the journeys that we're on, even if it looks ugly right now, we're in a love story with God, our creator. And so he's able to take anything that we are up against, anything that we've gone through, or anything that we are currently facing, and make it into something beautiful. And so, I always tell people, don't get discouraged by where you are.
Wow.
This is a love story that we're walking out. And God has our best interest at heart. He's always seeking to restore us, and clean us up and put us on the top shelf. He loves us that much. So,
wow, you just said something that reminded me. Like, my very first book came out of pain.
Come on.
I wrote that out of pain, out of depression, anxiety, all of the things that I was dealing with as a man, as a Black man, that I really didn't understand how to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because God turned all of that. And I was just talking about this the other day. I was riding in my car and I thought about it. All of that stuff, I turned around. Well, he helped me to turn it around into something great.
Yes.
Into something good that could help not only myself, but it can help others that are in similar situations in their relationship, and they don't know how they got there or how to navigate through it.
Right.
My wife and I also are God-fearing people, so we definitely added him into the mix.
Look, Look, he's a game changer. I mean, what more can I say? He's a game changer. And yes, he sits high, but he looks low. And that doesn't mean that he looks down on us, but he sees all. Like he sees all. And, you know, the answers that he gives to us when we're in our dark place, when we're in our, you know, down season, you know, the answers that he gives, it answers all things, you know. So I'm grateful for that. You just gotta love him. You just gotta love him.
Yeah, right. So your newest book you just released this one on July the 8th, right?
Symptoms of Greatness is the one that just released this month. Symptoms of Greatness.
And talk to us about that.
Now, listen, I told you about the first book. Symptoms of Greatness is a book that I felt needed to be written for those who don't understand who they are or what they hold. And sometimes when you're called to greatness, you go through certain things that you might not understand. For those who are visionaries, for example, you know, you have all these bright ideas, you have these visions, and sometimes if you talk to the common person about it, they think you're crazy, like you can't do that. Yeah. But if God is bombarding your mind about it, that means they may not, but you can. And so Symptoms of Greatness is all about helping people identify what they're experiencing, and from there kind of give them the reassurance that, hey, look, you have been called for such a time as this. Whatever that thing is that God is giving you, put it on your heart. If he is waking you up late at night, you know, some people wonder why I can't go to sleep. Now, there is a place, and I always say this as a disclaimer, there is a time and place for everything. Some people, you might actually need therapy, and there's a place for that. But for those people who are just called to greatness, you're going to be woken up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning with ideas, with something you need to be jotting down in your notebook, with a tune you need to get on the keyboard and start playing. You know, all of these things that God gives us these ideas, not for us to sit on them. And so my goal with this book is to help people identify the symptoms of greatness that they hold, and not just pass themselves off as crazy, not to just pass themselves off as weird or whatever negative connotation they want to put to it. No, you're not sick, you're not crazy, you're great. And so it's time for you to do something about it.
Awesome. I love it, Ayana. I always say if God gave you the vision, it's your job to work the vision, and everything else he'll provide for you.
That's it.
You know, we do events, and sometimes we get nervous about the turnout. Who's going to come? Is there going to be a lot of people? You know, one of my open mics I did a few years ago, my first one, it was no seats in the house. It was standing room. And then right after that, it was like me and all the other poets at that next one. Not too many people, you know.
Yeah.
And I had to learn and understand as I kept doing it that that's just how it is. It's a process.
Yeah.
That you have to go through. And you're right. We don't like, you know, going through the fire and all of that, but that's what produces the diamond in the end.
Yeah.
What is it like? So just talking to you right now, for what this last 15 minutes, like I could just feel and see the energy coming off of you. Yeah. And I remember when I had Terrence on my show, I felt the same energy from him as well. Like you guys really just, you know, it's like y'all are reflections of each other with that smile and that energy. What is it like to be in a relationship where both of you are active in doing things that you have a passion about?
You know what? It's a blessing, to answer your question. Remember that visionary I told you about? How our relationship is right now, and what is coming into even more is what I already sensed from the beginning, which made me say I do. Because he might not have seen this, but not to sound spooky, because I'm not one of those spooky.
No, I hear you though.
God deals with me like that. And so that's what made me say I do, because things didn't look quite like this then, but I already felt it. And so to be in the moment where things are coming into alignment with his purpose and my purpose, and even though our calls are different but the same, they kind of intersect. And so I think that we're right in the beautiful part, right in the sweet spot of, you know, both of our journeys. And so it's a great feeling. And it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I actually talk about in one of the chapters of my book, talking about companionship, because sometimes when you are creative, sometimes when you are called to great things or whatever it is that thing is, sometimes it can be hard to find or be found by a person that's compatible with your path, compatible with your purpose. And so, you know, if you have to forsake your path, forsake the purpose that God has for you, then that's not the thing you want to be in. That's not the relationship that you want to be in. And so, to answer your question, it's a sweet feeling right now. You know, it takes some hustle sometimes. It takes a little grit to do what you might not feel like. You might not feel like writing right now, but you have the other person to motivate you, you know, to encourage you. So you can't beat it.
Right. So what inspires you to write? Like, what, have you always been a writer all your life?
I honestly have not. It's honestly been a progressive thing. I haven't always written. It started off with God waking me up sometimes, and I have to jot down whatever that thing is on a notepad and revisit it later. But as far as like thoroughly just writing, I never really did poetry or anything like that. It really just came with my journey, and I'm a student above all things. And so when I see things happen, when I see people experiencing things, when life is going on around me, I'm a student. I'm always watching, observing, taking mental notes. And so a lot of my writings, my books come from things that either I've experienced or have witnessed others experiencing. And of course, I include God in the mix with, you know, what is it that I actually put down about those things.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So tell us, who is, in your words, who is Ayana Pope?
Ayana Pope is a passionate woman, creative, a lover of God, a worshiper, a wife, mom. I'm a servant. You know, I'm just a servant, because anywhere I can see that I can do something about what's going on, like I'm always here, you know, assisting where I can. And so I do know that God has gifted me in a lot of areas, but I'm not one to watch people struggle. I'm not one to watch people be without if I have it, you know, be without if I know how to help. And so I think overall, Ayana is a student, she's a servant, and she's a lover of God.
Wow. I always say on all of my shows, especially at the end, if you want to be blessed, you must bless somebody else. That's something that I believe in. And I fell into that though, because of just getting into a spiritual position, because I was, you know, in a wilderness. I was lost, didn't know where I was. So coming into that spiritual place helped me in writing and helped me to get into my writing and things of that nature. But at the same time, it definitely was a struggle. And it's interesting how when we go through struggles, how God is just preparing us for the next thing, but we don't see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't see it. What's in the future for you in your writing? Like, what do you see in the future for you next?
I do know that God has put on my heart 2 other subjects to kind of talk about. I don't think I want to disclose it just yet.
I understand, right?
So I do feel that there's more to come as far as books. I'm always on God's timetable, but I'm not a slacker either. So I'm always listening, always waiting for the green light. But I'm really just honestly taking one day at a time, doing what I can for this book that God's given, as well as just my family. What is the vision for my family? And so taking it one day at a time.
Absolutely. Now, with the books that you have published, what is it like to know that you have something that's here through the test of time, that's always going to be here before, even after, far after we're gone. You know what I mean? You'll have material here that people can learn from, can read, and can help them in whatever they're dealing with in life. What is that feeling for you like?
It's definitely fulfilling. It's encouraging, especially when you're going through seasons that you might not understand.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you're going through those seasons that you might not understand, if you just look back, you see that everything that he's brought you through to this point has been purposeful. And so I'm hopeful. I feel encouraged. What more can I say? We never see ourselves. Well, we rarely see ourselves as great as, a person 20 years from now might read something we said. It was like, wow, someone mentioned to me Maya Angelou. Like, I'm not sure if Maya Angelou knew just how, special she was, but, until it happened that, hey, people are still quoting you. And so it's encouraging. It's encouraging to know that, when I'm gone, something I said, something I did is still impacting somebody today.
Do you feel like what you do is a ministry? Like, I get that vibe. I get that.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. Because it started with God.
Mm-hmm.
It started with God. And so I don't believe that I've gone through anything for nothing. I don't feel like I felt any emotion that I felt for nothing. And so the fact that I was able to come out of that space, I feel like nothing that I've gone through is meant for me. It's meant for everybody else.
Wow. Sorry about that. Wow. That's incredible, Ayana. That's incredible. I mean, I commend you on what you're doing. And I know that there's times in your journey of what you are doing where you didn't, you may have thought, or you didn't see it the way you see it now. Right. The obstacles and the things that you went through in getting on this journey. How do you deal with those obstacles that get in your way at times?
I keep my faith up. I keep my hopes up. And I remember it's actually a scripture that Jesus said, and he said, you basically, in short, you may not understand what I'm doing now, but later on you will. And so knowing just that piece right there, it keeps me hopeful in whatever circumstance, because I may not understand right now. You may not understand right now what you might be going through, but to know that later on we will know the purpose of it, and to know that his desires for us, he's here to give us a hope and a future. So that means it's like he's not here to seek to kill us off. He's not trying to kill us. He's not trying to hurt us, but he's trying to help us just evolve and to step into the next greatest thing that he has for us. And sometimes that's just healing. Sometimes that's just joy. It starts with the simple things. We always think it's the Cadillac. No, sometimes it's just being whole. And so that keeps me hopeful. It keeps me patient and waiting always.
Do you mentor any young ladies or kids of anything like that?
I do. So I believe when you interview my husband, he told you about his. I have a women's mentorship group as well. It's a support and mentorship group. So I every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. to 8, it's about an hour. If we get a little happy in conversation and it gets good, it may be 8:15, but it's about an hour where we just come together. We maybe watch certain things together, and we have discussions. We open it up to see what each person is dealing with, how they relate to it, how it was significant to them. And it's really a safe place to grow and to be transparent, to be vulnerable, in a space where nobody's going to take what you said and weaponize it. We also do get-togethers once a month to give each other an opportunity to just see each other physically, because it is virtual, but to see each other physically, to bond, to figure out what our strengths and weaknesses are based on what we're doing. It's a great thing. It's a great thing.
Those two words, safe space, it's been I've heard that so much. I use it a lot myself, and
Yeah.
it's very like popular now because that's what a lot of us need, that place where we feel safe when we're sharing. You know, you don't feel judged, you don't feel condemned about what you're feeling or what you're going through. And I commend you, Ayana. You and your husband are absolutely amazing. I love the fact that you both are so positive and so fulfilled with God. My wife and myself, we do a lot of things together as well and individually, but it's all formed around kind of like the same thing. When my wife wrote a song called Unusual Favor, and that started a whole like journey for us. In the mess that we were dealing with, we were able to use Unusual Favor to help us to get through it. She wrote that song after coming home from church one day. Just the pastor said something about Unusual Favor, and we just ran with it.
Come on.
So I know that working with your significant other when you're doing God's work and things of this nature, it's like there is no feeling like it.
To know that God agrees with you. To know that God agrees with your
walk. And I'm serious. Like I'm telling you, the ray of light that's just shining from you right now. And it's the same way when I talk to Terrence, it's the same thing. It's like you guys both are passionate, and I know when God is in something, because that's when that passion is there. You know, I feel like that's when that passion is there.
Amen. Yeah. I mean, what more could you ask for? You know, and people sometimes don't understand just how important it is to have God in your mix. Like whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're in, like you want to have God in it, because he's the game changer. He's the one that makes everything, you know, and if he's not there, it's like, what's the point? You know,
I had to learn to really focus in on my personal relationship with him. I admit sometimes I'm the type, like I can be distracted from stuff that I see at some of the churches and I don't like, but I know that that's just a distraction. I gotta stay focused. You know what I mean? How do you stay focused though on God and so comfortable in your belief? Like how do you stay focused on that?
You know what? You have religion and then you have relationship. And when you have relationship, can't nobody tell you about, you know, the thing that you're in with that person, that God, you know. And so, yes, you may see things on social media that's maybe fake or that may be, you know, whatever it is. But it's something about when you're in a relationship with God, you kind of know what's real. And even if you're not seeing it everywhere else, you know what you're experiencing in your world, you know, within yourself. And so, you know, I just lean into my relationship. You know, I know how God has changed me. You know, I know how God has cleaned me up. You can't tell me what he didn't do in my own world. And so even if I see some craziness, it's like, okay, yeah, that's a little wild, but he's still real because I know him for myself, you know?
All right. I love it. So I don't know. I get a vibe, you know, of First Lady.
Oh no!
Look, I'm telling you, I gotta be honest. You and your husband, I see you guys. Y'all, you know, I don't know. I just see First Lady and a pastor, a bishop, something. You know, you guys really have something special. And it's inspiring. It really is.
Listen, I can't even say nothing else on that because that is definitely not the goal and title.
No, I know, and it never is, right?
It never is. But I can say that you're not too far off. My husband and I did just recently get ordained. And so you're not off, but I'm just kind of like trying to shy away from the first lady.
I know. But it's Ayana, it's beautiful though. It's beautiful. I'm telling you, I see it all on both of you. I follow Turn, so I see some of you guys' pictures and things, and I can see the light. I guess I want to say that's the word I want. I can see the light of God on you. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because I remember times where even in my relationship with my wife, God truly does. And this is coming from a person, I wasn't always focused on God. When I was in my 20s and early 30s, what was important to me was what was in my pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he had to sit me down and make me go through some things to see a difference. And just having him in your relationship with when you're with someone, it's not always going to be great, but I feel as though when those times come where there's trouble, you both know that God is right there, and you may have to,
He's an anchor.
Yeah,
He's an anchor.
Yeah.
Because things are going to happen. Things are going to happen. Unforeseen things, death happens, all kinds of things, loss, things happen. But despite whatever is going on or has gone on, if you both have your own relationship, that's the piece right there. If you both have your own relationship, you won't go too far because you have God as your anchor keeping you, and with time and patience and prayer, of course, he'll bring you back in. He'll reel you back in. If you ever begin to question, like, what's the purpose of what I'm going through? What's the purpose of this? He's overall an anchor for our souls. So
when was it, before I want to ask you one or two more questions. When was it evident to you of how far you've come? Like, we work so hard sometimes and we keep our head down and we just work. And sometimes we never sit up and look at what we've created or, even to give yourself a pat on the back of what you have done. When was that time there where you looked around and you said, wow, like this is new to me and I'm making a change that I like?
You know what? I have, from time to time I look up. Mm-hmm. And I say, thank God, and like, wow, mm-hmm. But it was honestly really recently that I had a moment like that because I was out to brunch with someone and they kind of asked me a similar question. And I, like you said, you work, you do whatever, you kind of go on to the next moment. Like June was absolutely crazy. We had my son's graduation, his prom, his birthday, my ordination, this, that. And so it's like, oh my God. And so when you finally get to be still and then you look back and you're like, oh yeah, I did just graduate. Like I did just write a book. And so when you really sit back, which I had one of those moments, it is like, wow, because you couldn't do it by yourself. Like you couldn't do it by yourself, especially when you know what you're going through. Yeah. When you know what you're going through, and it's like, wow, even I'm stronger than I thought, because even though I'm going through this, even right now, it's like, wow, I still showed up. So yeah, sometimes it's mind blowing.
Absolutely. Ayana, I appreciate you so much for coming on today. Your energy is absolutely amazing. I am planning like a virtual kind of like summit, almost like a virtual panel of married couples who are who do similar things that you and Terrence are doing, that I'm doing with my wife. I know another couple that lives right here in Baltimore who both have written books. Mm-hmm. One is called Dear Black Man, and the other is called Dear Black Woman. Jewel Guy and Desmond Guy. Look them up, guys, on Facebook. But I wanted to bring a lot of us on just to show that Black love, that unity, hopefully to inspire someone else. And I just think it's beautiful. Like I really love to see us working together as a unit, especially when people are in a relationship and they can make it work. Because it's not always easy in a relationship if you and your mate are doing a business together. Sometimes it can clash. You can have issues. But with you and I both know with God in it, it's you don't have to worry about any of that at all.
Definitely. It's so much to talk about. It's so much to talk about. And if you're inviting us to that,
yes, I'm gonna let you know, guys. Definitely.
We would love that. Because me and Terrence are really in that space where, we're in a time where marriage isn't like.
I know, right? Yeah, it's not the norm anymore almost. It's crazy.
No, it's like not even a goal anymore. And sometimes if it is a goal, it's for the wrong reasons.
Right.
So, we're here for it. we're here for it. There's so much to say.
It is.
And I'm so grateful that you are putting something like that together. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. I thank you for coming on. Anything you want to say to the people before you go?
Listen, y'all, don't give up. Don't give up wherever you are, whatever you may be going through. Do not give up. God still sees something special in you, and you are worth pushing through for. So just don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on the circumstance. God's got you.
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out to your husband, Terrence. Thank you for watching, bro. I appreciate you, man. Wow, Ayana. Like I said, I have to have you back on again to see what you're doing in your journey and the things that you continue to do, because I see nothing but greatness in you and what you're doing.
Thank you.
How can we follow you and keep up with you?
I am Ayana Pope on Facebook. I also have another page where I do a lot of kind of like ministry and things of that nature. It's called Healing and Hope with Ayana Pope.
I love it.
Healing and Hope with Ayana Pope. That's my public page. So feel free to follow on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Ayana_Y_Pope, Pope.
Awesome. Ayana, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you. Good luck and God bless in everything that you do. Please do not be a stranger. I will keep continuing to follow you in turns. I'll be in touch with you guys, as much as I can to drop in and see how everything is going. But please keep doing what you're doing because you both are a great inspiration. Definitely.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We love you. And we look forward to seeing you again. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ayana. And everybody out there, thank you for watching. Like I always say, if you want to be blessed, you must bless somebody else. All right. Ayana, have a wonderful evening, sweetie. You have a good one. Thank you so much.
Take care.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Just wanted to let you know that the host of this show appreciates the time that you've spent with them. Now, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with everything that we're doing. And most of all, thank you for tuning in to What Up Baltimore online radio, where the people have the power.